Hello and welcome to Trinity Vineyard Video, the video series where we empower eternally significant lives. Last week we looked at this idea of your foundational self, that your identity can be built upon something that's solid, that isn't just up and down, but it's something you can rely on. And that's basing your identity on who God says you are. One of the ways that we can build that foundational self is by looking at the foundations of the earth. We can go all the way back to the beginning of the universe when God created everything. When we look at the Bible, we look at the first chapter in Genesis that tells us that God created the sun, moon, and stars, that God created other animals, He created the earth, and on the sixth day He created humanity. And in Genesis 1:27 it tells us this. So God created man in His own image. In the image of God He created him. Male and female He created them. When we see that we're created in God's image, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're created to look like Him. That God's a spirit and we have a bodily form. And so it's not like when we look at infants or young children and we look at their parents and say, oh, they have the mother's nose or they have the dad's eyebrows. It's not like that. When we look at the image of God, it's that we're created with characteristics. We're created with attributes of who we are that God also has. Some of those attributes are that we're spiritual beings, we're designed to be in relationships, we have intellect, and that we're creative, we have emotions, we have authority, and we represent God. Let me give you an example of what I mean by the fact that we represent God. When you walk by a mirror, you see your reflection. Unless, of course, you're a vampire. Mirrors reflect the light that is shown to them. And if we hold mirrors at an angle, we can see around corners, and we can see things that aren't a reflection of us, but are something near us. In the same way, God uses human beings to reflect who He is. And so goodness and traits of God are then reflected off of us as human beings who are created in His image, and we can reflect that to other people. The Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows coins terms for some of humanity's complex situations that we don't have words for. One of the words that they coined was the word sonder, which is when you realize that all the strangers, all the people that you don't know, that you bypass every single day, they have lives that are as complex as yours. We are the main character in our life story. And we have a supporting cast of our friends and family. And then we have extras, the people that are random passers-by, the people that we don't know, the people who are in line in front of us or in a car next to us. Too often these people are viewed as one-dimensional, that they're just there to cut you off in traffic, or they're just there that you had to wait behind them in a line to get Starbucks. When we look at the idea that we're all created in God's image, there's two things we can do when we think about these extras, the people in our lives. Number one, that as being created in God's image, we need to reflect God to everyone we come in contact with. We're created to reflect God, and we need to do that with these extras in our life. Secondly, those extras, the people who are in line in front of us, the people who are in the same restaurant as us, they're also created in God's image. And we need to treat people like all of us are created in God's image. You need to understand that the people around you have complexities, and they have hopes and dreams, and they have family, and they have mistakes. They have good days and they have bad days. And the more we understand that, and the more we treat other people with that sort of respect and dignity, understanding that God created them, then even more will be a reflection of how God created us to be. Thank you for watching. Please tune in next week as we look at being created, mind, body, and spirit. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.